I have a certification in Wing Chun, but on top of that, I also have certifications under Guru Dan Santo in Filipino martial arts, as well as in Jeet Kune Do. And so the Wing Chun aspect, or my instructorship under Master Francis Fong, is important to be able to write a book on Wing Chun, but I think having the understanding of those other philosophies really gives a little more in-depth look at the combat application of the art, because the other arts are directly combat related in their practice, not having forms. Dr. Alfred and I really didn't want to have a Wing Chun book that was just another Wing Chun book. And so when we created this book, we wanted the student to be able to get a lot more out of it than the books that are already out there. There are enough already on the forms, although we included the forms in the book so that a beginning level student picking it up would be able to glean something from it, having a little bit of understanding of the terminology and the movements and the understanding of the movements in the forms. So we included that with the forms. But we didn't want the book to be just about the forms. And so we decided to make it more deep in understanding the tactics and the overall strategy behind the art and the fighting application. And so that's why we named it Attack, Attack, Attack. And the hardest part about making the book meaningful is to bring about the energy and the intensity that is behind the art in photographs. It's really difficult to put in a still photograph the amount of energy and aggression being translated out between the opponents, because you're looking at several still photos, and it just doesn't, necessarily translate that. So we really try to emphasize that in the writing, and try to get the philosophy behind that out there. A lot of books already on Wing Chun. I've been studying Wing Chun since 1985, and I've had 3 different Wing Chun instructors, and all of them were good. My current Sifu, Francis Fong, is unique because he has a great understanding of the internal side of the art, and then also a great understanding of the external side, or the combat side. And so uniquely from that point of view, this book is written with the understanding of the combat side and the understanding of the very, very traditional way that my Sifu taught me. And so it's going to benefit a martial artist who's been training 4 or 5 or 10 years in Wing Chun already. They're going to get a lot out of the book. And then a student who is just new to Wing Chun can pick it up. They might not understand all the tactics. They might not understand the strategy, but they'll be able to glean something from what we teach with the forms, and what we teach and how we teach it in the book. And so this book is good for an instructor of Wing Chun, someone that's running a school, and it's good for somebody who's just starting Wing Chun. And I recommend it to my own students who are beginners, because in our training, we require a knowledge and understanding of the terminology. And the book contains that, where it also contains the Chinese and then the English. And that's really, really important if you're going to study Wing Chun, because if you just call it palm up block and you just call it bent arm block, well, first of all, they're not blocks. And so you get a wrong impression immediately when you use that terminology. So understanding showing hand and understanding tying up hand, that's going to help a student right off the bat. And it's really difficult to teach the combat aspect of the art without the forms. And I've been teaching law enforcement and personal protection officers, bodyguards for many years, and I use a lot of Wing Chun in that instruction. And you know, it's just difficult to convey the understanding of that to these guys who don't have a background. They don't understand the energy, and that's why, you know, this book has the understanding of that. It tries to teach and speak to that level of student. So a student who already knows the forms and already knows the basic is going to get a lot out of the book too. And that's who I wrote the book to. Is not just the guy just starting Wing Chun who wants to learn Gons out, Tons out. It has the aspects of a more deeper meaning to someone on the instructor level. And you know, I'm so grateful to have a student like Dr. Alfred who could help me write the book, who could help me put that energy and intensity into words and on paper. Because presenting it to a class in action with another human being, that's easy. Because you can see the guy being thrown around. But putting that on paper and in pictures, you know, that part, that's extraordinarily difficult. And we struggle with that. And you know, we struggle at the same time to keep the book a readable size. So, you know, we're already working on the second book because we already had a lot of material we couldn't include in this book. And so the control, strike, break philosophy that is inherent in Wing Chun is talked about, but it's not illustrated. So we want to make sure that we get that aspect out to Wing Chun practitioners. And this book is really, you know, about helping other Wing Chun students learn the things that it took me 25 years to learn. Well, 20 years to learn, and then 5 years to understand. So in 20 years of training, I learned a lot of things, but really the understanding of it took about another 5 years, having already learned it. And that's something that we're trying to do with the books is help people that are already training grow. You know, it's not just about having a publication. And so I really feel like this book is right, and it does that. As we progressed in writing this book, we found that, yeah, we had to leave some stuff out, and the only way to make it functional is to leave stuff out. So we decided that we're going to go ahead and make a second book, Wing Chun Strategy and Tactics, and really that's what we're going to keep it about. I'll probably include in the second book the other forms, you know, just again so that it also speaks to that person who's trying to learn the basic. And I will try to include some elaboration of the application of the forms. But when you understand the art fully, you don't need to look at the form and then find an answer for this position. You know that Wing Chun is a movement. It's moving. It's being. It's action. It's not position. It's not structure. Those are things that are required, but that's not Wing Chun. Wing Chun is the person using it, and is mobile, and it's a constant. And so that's why the art has to evolve. It has to include the understanding of the weaponry. And we state in this book that Wing Chun is a weapon art. And a lot of people don't believe that. They think that the weapon art is a separate thing. It's not. It's integral. I mean, it has to be there. Otherwise, you don't get a full understanding. And so we talked about that, and I'm sure that it's not going to please everyone, but I believe it. And when you know something, you just know absolutely. You can't be, you don't have a question about it. And so we put that understanding out there, and I think that if someone looks at it and studies and practices, they're going to come to that conclusion eventually, 25 years later, maybe, you know. From the standpoint of being a Jeet Kune Do instructor, which is a system that was developed by Bruce Lee. He studied Wing Chun, he took the best aspects, and he mixed that with boxing, and he mixed it with judo and jiu-jitsu. But he took the forms out, and when you take that away, you take away something very, very important. And so a lot of the Jeet Kune Do people, if they pick up this book and they go back and they study it, they're going to get a lot out of it. And I believe that, not from a Wing Chun person, but being a Jeet Kune Do person myself. And that's kind of unique, because a lot of times the JKD student won't study the system of Wing Chun to its completeness. They want to take the essence out, which is a good thing. But you know, having that complete understanding of the system, at least to the level I've studied it, is different. And it gives me a way to look back at Jeet Kune Do with a different eye. And so a Jeet Kune Do person is going to get a lot out of this book, and I say that as a Jeet Kune Do person myself. Because most Wing Chun books you pick up, it's going to be structure, it's going to be stances, it's going to be position, it's going to be form, it's going to be doctrine, it's going to be all of those cliches that Wing Chun people love to use, which is economy of motion and borrowed force and body unity and those kinds of things, which are important, which are absolutely part of the system, but I don't see a lot of people actually utilizing it. And so sometimes it's a parrot, it's someone saying a thing but not really understanding what it is. And so that's why, again, you have to know what a gansao is, a slicing hand. You have to know that gansao is tying up hand. You can't just go bend arm block, low outside block, high outside block, center line block, you know, high outside block. It just doesn't convey the understanding. And that being said, even that, you have to have an instructor to help you put that make it alive, you know. And so this book is a living thing, I believe. And so if you're studying Wing Chun, you're gonna be able to use it. And you know, I think that any Wing Chun instructor would appreciate it as a valuable learning tool.
Okay, my name is Alfred Wong, and I'm a student under John Rister, primarily studying Wing Chun. One of his many Wing Chun students. I decided to help Mr. Rister put out this book, Wing Chun Strategies and Tactics, to help him put out this book because I felt there was something unique that he had to say that I didn't see in a lot of other publications. Looking at other Wing Chun books, you know, they may have showed forms and had some exposition, but there was one thing that I felt was unique that he had to say was on the strategies of attack and also the understanding of energy and how to translate energy. One thing I was very impressed with being under his instruction is how he really helped us understand the weapons art. If we didn't understand the weapons art, it's really hard to understand how the hand applications work. And so I hope that through this book we can actually convey that. One of the aspects that it's difficult in putting out a Wing Chun book, I think with any book, is because it's a very dynamic art. It is not static. But to try to convey that in a photograph or try to describe it in writing is technically a challenge. I hope that some of that is conveyed. I hope to the reader that they understand that there's more behind the images and the words that is trying to be conveyed here. Again, a student could go for many years trying to learn this, and they may miss out on these aspects. But hopefully with this kind of publication, that can help accelerate the process and appreciation and understanding and the learning of the art.